What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 4 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Nakai the Wanderer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, some really fun battles. The Skink army was able to get its first few debut fights out and destroyed Wurzag's last stack for good, acquiring the nice defeat trait for Tyrannicon, and is getting ready, I think, this episode to split off and start doing its own thing. Elsewhere, one by one, armies will split off and head into different directions from Nakai, starting with this one. And just got to make sure we got another Arc of Sotek and a couple heroes in here as well, as they'll probably need it without Nakai having, you know, all the anti-single entity work done by him. Anyway, in addition to that, we did the quest battle for the Golden Tributes, which was certainly a toughie, and we certainly had to work for our victory, but it's a very nice little item. Upkeep production for the army, which we really wanted. And the area is only 30-meter range, but if we should choose to blob up around our Kroxigor pile, and then it works out quite nicely as well. Plus, it's always active on Nakai, who is already an absolute monster. Well, he's been a monster basically from level 1, and that hasn't changed. Anyway, in terms of what we're going to do this time, we'll continue going after the Thief Snatches just for a little bit, as their strength might already be broken depending on how much that particular little army meant to them, or that army and the WA. They might have another army running around, but this will give us the opportunity to sort of stick around with the 3 armies until we're ready to split off to Tyrannicon, and then we will pick a few directions. Like I said last episode, I really want to fight Khorne. I hope that this is Scarbrand, but even if it isn't, we know that our ball is really close by as well, and Queek is really close by. There's a lot of fun stuff to be had. I just want to make sure that Nakai goes somewhere that isn't Greenskins, as he's had his fill of eating them, at least for now. Anyway, let's begin. Nakai, you are going to... I think we wanted to move to Bitterstone Mine because it has the Winds of Magic at strong, and we're losing Winds of Magic here. And we gotta wait for a turn anyway, so let's just march stance all the way to here. And yes, I know this little army is going over there, but frankly, it doesn't really matter much. And, ooh, Putrid Tar Pits. What do we have here? It is another Greenskin faction. I kind of don't like that Bog Creeper camp is owned by the Golden Order, though. Maybe we'll ignore them for now and leave one of the follower armies to deal with them. I'll think about it. Speaking of follower armies, you're gonna have to stay here for a turn, but that's alright. And Cytochrome, you go here. Just try not to lose all of that, all those Winds of Magic of yours, both of you. Like so. And then I was thinking about getting a second Skink army up and running rather shortly, so maybe we'll increase our army capacity as well. I did like the idea of the, what was it again? Blessed by Sotek here. So we have Champion of Sotek and Blessed by Sotek, which are very different. So this increases missile strength for Skinks and Pterodon units, doesn't do anything for the melee Skinks, which could be a completely different army from the Champion of Sotek one, which is a little bit more melee focused. And this one could do the Chameleon Skinks, Blessed Chameleon Skinks, Skink Skirmishers, and Flyers in combination, rather than be a full flying army, and sort of be a sort of run and gun type of skirmisher army, which would be completely different feeling than the rest. Plus, I absolutely adore Chameleon Skinks, and I do feel like I want an army that is focused on them. Of course, there is Oshiotla to think about, but he is all the way up here, isn't he? And wait, no, he's all the way up here. He's in Norska, and just getting to him would probably take like 20 turns. So, yeah, once we have a spare hero, we'll start moving him over there, but dang, if that ain't gonna take a while, and we can have another army that does at least some stuff. Besides, Oshiotla won't have to have flyers in his army, so he'll still be different. Anyway, I think that's it, unless I'm mistaken, or if it isn't, I don't care. So we're gonna skip, we're gonna end turn, and then we're going to proceed. Go. Alright, don't forget to wipe them out, and let's see, we have Razor Sack, Sharp Thorn Forest. Alright, that's reasonably close. Raise or Sack. Okay, I gotta try to remember to actually do that, as, well, the little extra bit of money wouldn't be too bad a thing. Anyway, Nakai, we're still going to have to attack with you, even though I'd love to save the movement range. It's just that we need to spam gift to the old ones on your army, since by far the most expensive, since the Skink armies are, well, a lot cheaper, and that's one of the reasons we like them. You guys will, of course, still reinforce. and still leech all that XP, especially since I wanted to peel away Tyrannicon when he's level 12, and we're just not quite there yet. Anyway, Bitterstone Mine, auto-resolve. Okay, let's double-check the auto-resolve. Shouldn't kill anything off, but yeah, it basically did nothing. I believe we were going through Quetzal. I wanted to try to max out, or at the very least get to the sort of 4th node for Quetzal to get that income from post-battle loot plus 20%. I don't really care for the... Let's see. Oh, it will also give us constant casualty or punishment rate. Ooh, and it's constant casualty or punishment rate. All right. That's that ain't bad. Good for Quetzal. All right, and then a Blood Statuette of Spite. Direct damage, 4 uses. Looks like a minor damaging ability. All right, we'll probably put that on one of the skink heroes. Anyway, Nakai, you... Oh, he can still travel a fair bit. We'll go to Thief Snatch's fort next, so... there we go, right to the edge of this territory. You know, let's go right... I know, here? Like, wait, right there. I just want to make sure that we're not losing too much mana, because it's a hassle to bring it back, because it's a plus 20 or whatever it is. In terms of the upkeep increase. Alright, you guys move. Tyrannicon, you're really not moving as far as these guys. Huh, interesting. Anyway, we're gonna go for the Gimbals of Gold for the army capacity plus 1. Do we still have the red-crested skink chief with Blessed by Sotek? We do. Good. Hopefully he doesn't disappear next turn just like that happened last time, as it would be unfortunate. And I do like this one as well. The missile resistance, 10% on weapon strength. This might be good for a Saurus army. Also, Nakai, do you need levels? No. What about you? You're still rank 10. Okay, so for a fair bit of a while. We also do have that Ogham Shard battle, which we will obviously do. Just gonna wait a little bit until we do. Croaky, well, we'll level you after we actually fight. You know, or before we actually get into a proper fight. We do want to keep an eye out on the armies of our ally, or vassal here. And we could once again borrow this army, but I'm not sure that it does anything for us down here. It's not strong enough to attack Kugath by itself. We'll need to send a proper army down there for when we do that. Huh. This guy's got some good stuff, though. Savage Giant. Man, I wanted to avoid fighting more Greenskins, but I can't say I'm not tempted. And the garrison is pretty solid here as well, and it's... Alright, you know what? Maybe if this guy stays here, we'll fight that. I mean, it's a giant. It's more, let's say, it's more goblin-heavy than orc-heavy, which would make it a different feeling battle anyway. And it's not like we wouldn't have eventually attacked these guys. And they only have 2 settlements anyway, so it wouldn't be that big of a detour. I have convinced myself. I just wanted you all to know that. Anyway, Nakai, do you need to recruit anything? No, I don't think anybody can reach you. You know, I guess we'll wait until we have more capacity for the special Basties. I wanted to get the two solar engines for Cytochrome and then build the Basti, the second Arcasotek, and the second Reviv Crystal, but I'd like to build them all at the same time, because it takes 2 turns, and if we're going to sit for 2 turns anyway, we might as well build them all. To do that, to get the increased capacity, we'll probably need to upgrade one of the hordes, but I guess we can do that next turn. Alright, skip, go. Alright, red shield destroyed. I don't know who that is, but I don't really care. Alright, moment of truth. Do we still have Blessed by Sotek? Yes, indeed we do. Beautiful. Alright, we'll be keeping AU and getting... Ooh, income from raising settlements plus 50%. Huh. Might actually want to use one of these guys for that particular purpose, but yeah, anyway. For now, you are currently at war with the Order of Lore Masters and the Golden Order. In terms of units, we are much more likely to actually borrow Elven stuff than we are Yumi stuff or or Imperial stuff, because we can actually borrow creatures from the Elves, and I don't know, it always feels weird to use Lizardmen with other factions, non-beast units. Maybe it's just me, though. I'd love your guys' opinion on it as well, because frankly, I was kind of toting the idea of just wiping everybody out. But anyway, if they're not in the Great Plan, then they shouldn't be here. This is basically Mazda Mundi's whole thing. But anyway, what was I going to do? I was going to declare war on... Who are these guys? The Bog Creepers. Morglum de Flare. Bog Creepers will take your... a little bit of cash. Not going to bother with any agreements with Teclis right now in case we want to kill him. Although, once again, I would like Phoenixes. I do think Phoenixes would work nicely with ours, especially Arcane Phoenixes, because they work with our color schemes. But anyway, Unikai will hit this directly. And I guess we'll have to level up before we fight. Not that that's a bad thing. There you go. Go like so. I'm excited to see Nakai fight the giant. We got trolls, lots more night gobos. I guess this is a Gobbo faction rather than an Orc faction, directly anyway. Lord Croak, you got only the 1 point. We should max out Supreme Shield of the old ones and then Deliverance of Itza. And, oh, wait a moment. I was saving that point because I wanted to get Grand Palanquin as fast as possible. You know what? Keep the point. I knew there was a reason I didn't level yet. I truly, truly did. 1 more level until Carnosaur. Let's also get Retinue Trainer for now. Not the biggest deal, especially in Nakai's army, who gets massive amounts of points for everybody anyway, but nonetheless, might as well lean into it. Wind Blast would actually be fairly helpful against the giant piles of the Gobos here, since they're fragile. Cytochrome. Oh, okay, wait, before I forget. You. Lord Recruitment. Red Crested Skink Chief. 2, blessed by Sotek. Another cheap skink army, and Saurus are just so incredibly expensive that in the early game we're better off using these skink armies, and we'll probably have the armies of our first couple of these guys, the ancient Kroxigors, be fairly skink heavy, and then we'll slowly over time replace the skinks. But yeah, we won't be able to afford too much right now. But anyway, there we go. We should have a pretty fun fight here. Before we do, however, the housekeeping. Yes, we reached the engagement threshold, and yes, this will be an hour-adjacent episode, and the engagement threshold remains 500 likes, 70 comments. The next episode will be an hour-adjacent, hour-ish long as well. And let's get to it. Alrighty, here we go. I'm excited about this one. It is a lot of orcs, and while we have fought plenty of orcs before, it's still a good time, and it probably always will be. And wasn't it? Was he licking his mace? That was interesting. But anyway, we are going to make use of our other army this time, and not so much because I think we need it, even if the enemy army does have 3 stacks-ish, but more or less just because I want the sort of armies, the skinks, to work together with the Croxies and all of that, so just combine everything we've got. And then have a big epic fight across the entire battlefield. I'm going to speed this up while we get everybody into position. Most of the Red Crests will join the front line, together with the Chameleon Stalkers, together with the Kroxigors. Skinks and Kroxigors spawn kin, as it were, working together and getting ready to move on. And over on the left flank, we have the piles of the Cav, or, well, the Cav and the Feral Cold Ones. This is sort of the start of our eventual cavalry army. Gotta make sure we get a couple of Saurus Scarvets to lead them, but I still think it'll probably be a red-crested skink chief leading them. I gotta double check what the buffs for that particular lord is, if they can buff the cav to the same degree that red crests can. But anyway, and of course we have our flying missile cav as well. 3 skink chiefs, and then of course we're skink priest of heavens as well. All are gonna move into position and get ready to move. Nakai is of course acting by himself, acting alone effectively, but he has been doing so in pretty much every single battle in this entire campaign so far. He's not going to be too concerned. Anyway, the flyers are going to lead in terms of the attack, just going to fly on over some of the enemy range units and drop a few bombs and a few fire leech bolas upon them as well. They will herald the flying missile cav will herald the arrival of the running missile, or running regular cav. Galloping? No, he wouldn't gallop. What do raptors do? I'm just going to say run. Anyway, they charge on in. Of course, the feral cold ones will follow, while the regular cold one riders will lead, and the enemy's left flank is in a very bad way, especially since the enemy range units are going to get tied up and will be able to achieve nothing. In the meantime, skinks and Kroxigors have moved on in as well, and have now started the fight against all of the greenskins, pretty much all over the map. And it's going to be a pretty darn big and wide battlefield here. Going to drop a few spells here and there with Lord Croak, especially on the enemy range units, just because we can't really be sparing any units to hunt them down at the current time. The Giant will actually run away from Nakai, though frankly at this point I'm pretty used to it, as everybody seems to actually just run away from Nakai, and will actually attempt to go for Lord Croak, hitting him for about 10% of his HP and damage. Gonna get another small Deliverance of Itza, and wow, that instantly completely wiped out the unit. You see the banner disappear? It was a full HP unit and the basic Deliverance of Itza. Granted, it's gobos, but completely wiped them out. Anyway, with the Giant having moved towards Lord Croak, the rest of the enemy lords and heroes are being chased by Nakai and by Tyrannicon as well. We just want to make sure that we knock down that giant river troll hag, because we can't have her spamming that spirit leech constantly. Otherwise, the balance of power has already shifted to 90% in our favor. The charge of our units quickly demolishing the strength of the enemy. And of course, as enemy units flee the battlefield, new units will come in as reinforcements, but, well, they may not have the critical mass needed to do too much of anything anymore, especially with the fire leech bolas continuing to fire down upon them. Very nice. Alrighty, and that's units that are attempting to run away as well. The Giant is at half HP as our second lord, our Kroxigor Ancient, or I guess our third lord in this particular case, has arrived and is spinning to win at the Giant's legs. Good way to slice those Achilles tendons, perhaps. Gotta bring the Giant down after all, and it looks like the Giant will break. Similar to the Giant, most of the enemy army is starting to break as well. Some of the, there we go, reinforcements coming in droves of gobos, but, well, they're only gobos, and let's be real here, they're not going to be a major concern to us. Especially as the rest of the enemy armies have been overrun and destroyed. And since the gobos aren't really a threat, we're just going to wipe out what we can with another Deliverance of Itza. Right in the middle of those, and hey, even some gobbo archers firing away at some of our skink chiefs and fire leech bolas. Yeah, imagine arriving onto the battlefield and there's just Kroxigors bonking away at you and fire leech bolas dropping from above. And not a good day in Gobbo's day, generally speaking. And I do believe the Gobbos are now fleeing. We will give them one more parting Deliverance of Itza. Unlike the smaller deliverances we've been using prior to this, that'll be the big one. I wanted to make sure that we didn't use those throughout the course of the battle to let our units actually do the work. And work they did, but to catch runners, I'm pretty sure it's a decent usage of it as well. Anyway, there we go with that. The battle is ours, and no problem whatsoever. Well done, everybody. Hey, we got a decent bit of cash out of that fight, which I'm very happy about. I was looking to get that bonus post-battle loot, and hopefully we'll get the plus 20% rather soon out of Quetzal as well. Anyway, obviously we didn't really need both of our armies to fight the three enemy armies, and we could have done it with just Nakai, but it's really fun doing it with both as well. Slanashi giggle. And, well, once again, they'll peel off shortly, so we may as well enjoy them. Anyway, decisive victory, nice. Everybody did well, I'm sure. Kroxigor's cleaning house, and at 20k damage, it looks like Foxy Croxy's got the most, and damn, 45k and 40k on the Pterodon Riders. I think the Cav did fairly well as well. Let me just see here. 365 kills, 174 kills, 16k, and 26k damage on the Cold One Riders. Considering they're cheaper than regular Saurus, that's pretty darn awesome. Great. Decisive victory. We will occupy. We will gift for Quetzal. We get the same amount of money as we do for raising. Oh, we can't sack it. Huh. It might not actually be worth it to not do the gift then, because we got that quest to raise or sack a place, but then what's the point? Gift for Quetzal. Alrighty, and hello, Plaque of Dominion, free research rate, and then a leadership hex. That's quite interesting. And another Talisman of Preservation, as Stegodon for somebody, a Carnosaur for our one and only Saurus. There we go, starting to get the dinos now. I guess the second Talisman of Preservation is going to go to our second lord, so there we go. Alright, this Kroxigor Ancient is going to be a mighty fighter in his own right, rather quickly at this rate. You can't move, obviously, but, I actually got decent defenders at Stinking Geysers as well, so we should probably wipe them out, as in this faction, since we're at war with them generally, anyway. I hate seeing how the AI is just sharing territories with a bunch of different factions. It just bothers me. Maybe we can just get Bog Creeper camps somehow if they get wiped out here. But either way, we're not going further this way. We want to cross over to Khornate territory. Are you at war with Khorne? You're at war with the Howlas, Scabby Eye Clan, Vulcan, Ironclaw, Orcs, Bog Creepers. Okay, I don't see any Khornate factions there. We're immune to trespassing, so we can freely move through their territory. And ooh, we're at 312, Old One's favor. And just trying to get to 400 to get that sequence of greater restoration and the upkeep reduction. Much needed, obviously. Alright, so Nakai, since we have another army of presumably skinks and flyers starting up, let's, well, start that up. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Cytochrome, you're going to grab these 2 Cold One Riders, and we'll possibly take them back when we fight the battle here, the other quest battle, but for now, Nakai, start moving this way. But you two kind of stick around here to protect this little guy. Wait, okay, we actually need to make more space, damn it, I forgot about that. Alright, fine, you move here and then take, I don't know, maybe the flyers, because they're going to go into the other army eventually anyway. Nakai. Let's get some more Chameleon Skinks. We have 2 more turns of Missile Focus, and I feel like we should make use of it. So let's go 4 Chameleon Skinks. We'll probably get a few more. And then Blessed Skink Skirmishers, because the regular non-Blessed Skink Skirmishers are kind of not worth using. But yeah, and then we'll do some Pterodon Flyers and stuff. But for now, I want to take advantage of the bonus recruit ranks. I know I'm recruiting more stuff, even though we are negative in money, but it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do and all of that. You can channel, because your army is basically free anyway. Might as well max your army out. You stay as you are, you're both fine. Diplomacy. I don't know that we need to or care about any of this. Kind of bizarre not caring about diplomacy, but, well, it's fine. Works just fine. A little bit less of the admin for those who are sick of all the, admin in the Cathay campaign. Which is fun in its own right. I actually really do enjoy the admin of this game, and sort of mixing all the buildings together and all that. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else to do. I'm still very tempted to pop the Rite of Rebirth, but not at the cost of the Old One's favor. So skip, 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 and then turn. Alrighty, there we go. We've got the, well, some Chameleon Skinks up and running. Let's head to the Stinking Geysers. I think we should probably be able to just auto-resolve this. Oh, I just realized we could wait the turn and it'll be up to tier 4. Oh, actually, that doesn't matter, does it? Because no matter what, yeah, these things are all tier 1, so there's no reason to wait, or no need to wait. Alright, fair enough. Everybody else will move in and reinforce and swap some units around. You are going to take those Chameleon Skinks from Nakai, and then we'll bring back some of his other units. Oh, actually, wait. If we keep them in here, they will get a little bit of XP. Well, I guess we need to transfer them anyway for a next turn. Alright, stay in Nakai's army for now, just to attack. Let's move everybody else in. And how close are you? Okay, you're almost level 12 and ready to go. Ooh, hopefully this will give us enough Old One's favor. Let's find out. Alright, go here, Nakai. Take this. Easy little auto-resolve, I imagine. Double check that it won't kill off anything, but I don't imagine it should. Well, a little bit of damage this time, though. And we will occupy for gift for Quetzal. Alright, we just need 2 more to get to where we need. Alright. And Featherfoot Torque will be useful, but not on you. Cloak of Feathers, and wait, did I just see a level 12 on Tyrannicon? A moment. Yes, I did. Beautiful. Alright, Bog Creepers destroyed real quick at the start of the episode. More importantly, Warrior's Crest will give you a massive, massive buff to your personal fighting capabilities when you need to do so. Then we will go for Dexterous Warrior, buffing up the speed and missile resistance of the Skinks, and more importantly, Skink Leader, giving them plus 10 melee defense and plus 10% missile strength as well. And we do have 3 points left over, which I guess is going to go for the Arcs of Sotek, so we'll go for Beast Driver. Or considering it isn't super important to buff them yet, maybe we could actually ignore that and then go for something like through Draft Master into Geomantic Sustenance. It's not like the Red Crests are very point hungry, so we could make their army cheaper. That said, their army is already quite cheap and will probably remain quite cheap, but nonetheless, every little bit counts as it'll allow us to get more armies on the field, and it's not like Beast Driver is a particularly good buff anyway. I mean, the melee defense is nice, I admit. How fragile are the Arcs of Sotek? Probably not super fragile. I think we can forego it. Do these guys need horde growth? I think last time I came to the conclusion that they don't really need it. They can max everything out with the horde growth that they have, meaning it would be pointless, meaning we're probably better off going into Ancient Cunning, as it feels like the skinks might want to do the occasional ambush. Alright, that works on you. You, sir. Do we need Impressive Crest? Already spawning attrition enemy? Probably not. I think we'll start going through Quan Chi's Blessing to buff up skinks. Much as we can, anyway. And of course we'll need more of these guys. And we're 11 short of the old one's favored. Alright, fine, fair enough. Fair enough. I guess we're going out to here, and then I guess at these territories, after Stormhenge and Thief Snatch's Fort, that's where we'll peel away the skinks. Nakai will head north towards the Cauldron, or northeast towards the Cauldron, and the Cornate faction therein, while the skinks head southward. Maybe even pick up this little army to help out against some stuff. It's not like we really care about the Kugath defeat trade either, so we could have the skinks potentially fight them, though that might be iffy as well. But anyway, for now, start moving this way. Like so, we'll still be recruiting for at least one turn. We want to make use of that missile focus. We can't build Razor Dawns yet, but we should probably build a few more skinks. You stay nearby. You will go into March stance and then transfer from Nakai some units. And just so that he has the space to recruit, and then take the Chameleon Skinks like so. Actually, funnily enough, for this turn it might be better to take other units so that these guys get the chance to level up a little bit more. As odd as that may seem. Let's take the Basti, and I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Let's take the Amixon Barb, just because, yeah. Alright, and then you. Oh, you can't quite reach him. Not that anybody is nearby to attack you anyway, so not like it matters. Anyway, Nakai. Oh, wait, this applies to Chameleon Stalkers. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. I don't know about that. We did want 2 more Chameleon Stalkers for Nakai personally. Let me just see here. And this army is going to be a little bit more melee heavy. I do still want to keep a few skink cohorts of javelins just for flavor, but it could just be like 2 depending on what exactly we do with this army. Because I don't want it to be too ranged heavy if this is going to be our ranged skink army. I assume this doesn't apply to flyers, which it does not. And the non-blessed skink skirmishers aren't really worth our time. But I guess they could use regular skirmishers until the blessed skirmishers are up and running. I guess the question is then, how many chameleon skinks as opposed to how many skirmishers do they need? And we could also... Well, we could build the Fire Leech Bolas and the other Pterodon Riders a little bit later. No, let's just do 4 more Chameleon Skinks for now. They're also super cheap, and the same with the Skink Skirmishers, but I don't really care about their levels as much, so let's just do that. Anyway, I think that's good enough. Let's get ready to split those guys off. Let's also end the turn. Alrighty, there we go. Our income continues to decrease, but, well, that was inevitable. Let's see. Nakai, you've got all those... Well, I guess... Oh, wow, wait. Are you telling me you can reach Thief Snatch's Fort all at this distance? That's pretty solid. Alright, I guess we'll march and then allow these guys to remain in your army for now. I did say I wanted to split off after we reached Stormhenge, so that's fine. You go here. We'll auto-resolve with everybody else nearby as well. Keep on leeching. You've only got 2 turns of it, and yes, we're over 400 now. Beautiful. Alright, everybody here. Hopefully we don't run into a random Skaven, because they could ambush the armies that are here. I didn't mean to do that. They could ambush the armies despite the fact that they are near to other armies. Switch to Sequence of Greater Restoration and the Upkeep Reduction, the much needed Upkeep Reduction. There we are. Okay. Auto-resolve. Do we check? I'm gonna trust it. I shouldn't do that, but we're okay. Alright, beautiful. And gift for Quetzal, and we just need the one more. Gonna kind of move too far, buddy? Okay. Hey, Asp Bow. Oh, although we pretty much have poison on everybody anyway, so frankly this probably isn't actually super useful to us. Other base missile damage, I guess. And a Dragon Fire Handgun. Okay, now we do want a few of these, as we will be building a fire army. Talisman of Endurance? Yeah, sure, that's good. And Nakai, do you have anything that needs to be constructed now? Wait, huh. We're actually only 2,000 gold away from being able to build a Prime Ziggurat here at Tier 4. Tier 4 would enable us to build up to the Stegodon Arena, which would give us Ancient Stegs, and the other additional special basties. I guess the main issue of this is that it'll take all of our money, and it would actually be cheaper to simply build up one of these Ziggurats, and then build one of these, which would cost us about 6,000 gold. Plus this, which would cost us 10,000 gold. So for 10,000 gold, we could do the same thing. And we wouldn't be bankrupt, which may be the better option. Although none of you can do it this turn anyway, so that doesn't really change much. Anyway, Nakai, I guess sit there for now then. You know, you don't need to recruit anymore this turn, I think, and then we'll swap some units out next turn. And get them ready to split off and all. We'll have these skinks by themselves take Sharpthorn Forest. I think they can manage that one without too much difficulty. Oh, I don't like how these guys are holding territory as well. We're not allied with them, so we could wipe these elves out if we want, but the Golden Order would get pissed, and if the Golden Order gets pissed, the Kislevites would get pissed, and if the Kislevites get pissed, Eltharion gets pissed, and then everybody starts attacking us. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I still have to consider it. Anyway, for now, we'll end the turn, and then we will proceed to... I believe we have enough Old One's favor in order to get a hero for the Skink Army. End turn. Alright, there we go, upkeep production, and we're positive again. Beautiful sequence of greater restoration, and it's not just upkeep, it's a little bit of tribute as well, which is nice. Right to mastery, right expires, crown claimed for Reichland, good for Reichland, and let's get back to Blessing of the Old Ones as we're trying to go towards sequence of traversal and the, well, the much needed, admittedly, sequence of traversal. Anyway, how are we gonna do this? First of all, Nakai, you are presumably able to reach Stormhenge. And you are. I fear that the rest... well, actually, you don't need to be in march stance. Yeah, wait. And once again... it's got some black works in there. But once again, it feels like... probably not worth our time. I think Khorne will be a lot more fun. We fought a lot of Greenskins, so I think it's not a big deal to do this. Anyway, let's... Alright, fine. We'll split off next turn. Everybody move in march stance. I guess except you. Like so. And I guess you can be the one to build stuff. There we go, that'll work. And go here. Because we want Nakai to recruit for 2 turns. Oh, and including to give him the Ark of Sotek for the split off, so yeah, that makes sense. Double check the auto-resolve, just in case the cav might be damageable, but anyway. Alright, obviously the enemy would have stood absolutely no chance. We fought harder targets than this, and hey, this will complete the Gift of Quetzal, giving us now the post-battle loot plus 20%, so yes, Gift of Quetzal. And then, Nakai, you can go back into encamp stance. Alright, now you, Shulamar, you are going to take Nakai's Chameleon Skinks, like so. Alright, then Cytochrome, you will return to Nakai the... oh, wait. No, I was about to say we could build this up, but it doesn't do any more upkeep reductions or anything like that, so it's probably not worth our time. Yeah, so we're gonna go to tier 2 here, operational Ziggurat. Then we're going to start by building up the lower portal of Itzel in order to try to get the portal of Itzel and thereafter the additional special basties. It'll definitely be nice. And then Nakai, you can build those units next turn. Everybody else... I mean, we could swap the expensive stuff to Nakai, but I'm too lazy. I believe we're good. So we'll stay in Stormhenge for the next 2 turns, recruit, and then move away. We do have the Old One's favor, and while we probably should. The Skink Army will need a caster, there's no doubt about it. I do want to double check whether we have any more interesting Skink Chiefs, however. We do have Assassin, Primal Vigor, another one with Recovery. Ooh, I do like that. But it isn't needed for the Skink army because Tyrannicon already has one with recovery, does he not? Also, it's got imposing stature. But yeah, you have the Primal Vigor. Frankly, every single army needs one. You don't have the Primal Vigor, and frankly, the Born to Lead one is going to peel off as well. I mean, we could get that one, but... I mean, I guess, fine. Let's recruit the other Primal Vigor Skink Chief. And pop him into Cytochrom's army. Then, we will want to... We don't have the building that allows us to build Skink Priests right now. We also do want the building that allows us to build Sacred Croxies. Frankly, the Saurus building isn't super critical here, at least right now. Which building allows us to build Skink Chiefs? Or Skink Priests, rather. It also gives us research. Oh. But you need tier 4 for the Oracles, which we do want as well. Do these give any additional hero capacities? I believe they do not. Actually, it does give Saurus Scarvet capacity. Skink Priests, Skink Chiefs, and... It's going to be difficult to get additional Oracle capacity, but I guess that's just like any other Lizardmen faction. Fair enough. Alrighty, well then I guess we can just stick around. For the turn, or for the second turn, or start maybe moving around. Nah. Alright, skip, and then turn. I guess Nakai can recruit, and we can send the others down to take step, Sharp Thorn Forest. And we'll definitely need a lot of units to deal with this, but with this little army nearby, we can borrow at any time. Oh, also, we should double-check. No ally missions. I do want to double-check for a better army as well. Stop building just skinks. Build some Saurus and Croxigors. Come on, guys. You have a you have a decent-sized little faction here. Build something that isn't... okay. Not that skinks are bad, it's just that the AI doesn't know how to really use them appropriately, so... yeah. I wonder if we should save this so that we can get all of the final tiers of this, but anyway, I'll figure it out. Alright, campaign movement range increase, good for you. Alright, now, the important thing. So, should we move while doing this? I mean, we could go over here still. How's our channeling? Channeling's not bad. Alright, fine. Nakai, you are going to march here. You know what? I guess we can peel off after Sharpthorn Forest because we still need to wait the turn for Tyrannicon to build this in order to get the special Basties. Alright, fair enough. So you're gonna go here. All of you, I guess. Like so. Then, special Basti here for Levitzel. Nakai, you will stick around here. We can transfer the... Oh, actually, I want to take a look at the other heroes for a second. Let's see what we got here. Primal Strength. I don't dislike that. Same with the Lethal Poison. Don't think about it. Either way, you are actually going to join Tyrannicon. No, you are actually going to join this little army, Shulamar's. And you're going to go here and go nearby. Nakai, you know what? Since Shulamar wants flyers in addition to non-flyers, let's do 2 Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas. And then I did say I wanted 2 more Chameleon Stalkers, so let's build those. Like so. Our money is rapidly dropping, but that was always expected. And then you can stick around here as well. And then, who are you again? Alright, you're supposed to join this army so that every single lord has a recovery guy. Alright, and it's not just lords after all, it's all characters in the army get recovery, and thus those guys are super necessary. Anyway, what I wanted to take a look at was this. If we look at the Skink Priests, which I guess we're going to do so right now. Hate to pay the cost, but it is what it is. And let's see what we get. Because the other armies need casters in order to function on their own. So Skink Priests. Oh, we do have Skymaster, which is fine, but it's casualty or punishment rate plus by Sotek, eh? When's the magic powers are +2 in miscast reduction. Instrument of Tepok. Charge reflection for Basties, and expert charge defense for Basties. That's kind of interesting. I was thinking of putting those on the... it would be nice on the Arcs of Sotek, but at the same time... Lucky melee defense and damage resistance and melee attack. It's not bad either. But anyway, the Skink army the regular skink army, is going to need the lore of beasts rather than the lore of the heavens. And I guess we'll just do Blessed by Sotek. I think there are much better ones, but, I mean, who knows how long we'll be waiting for them. Let's start with Blessed by Sotek. Plus, it feels lorefully accurate for the for that one to have the Blessed by Sotek one. And you know what? Let's alright, can we afford them? I want to get either the Assassin or the Primal Strength one. The Assassin will give us the additional poison, so it's a stacking debuff with the regular poisons that the other ones have. The Bone Crusher is quite nice as well, though. Alright, wait, let's see if we have enough for a... yeah, we do. Alright, let's do Skink Chief as well. We are preparing to split them off after all, so we might as well just invest in it. Let's do Bone Crusher, I guess. See, when this guy's on a big old dino, he'll be targeted a lot, so it's, you know, sort of additional bonuses. Yeah, fine, let's do Primal Strength. Alright, I was hoping that there would be one that actually buffs the skinks, but it doesn't seem to be, it doesn't seem like there is one, so it is what it is. Anyway, we'll skip. We'll end the turn, and then by then, okay, we built this, by then the Basties will be ready. End turn. Alright, wall fails, hardly our problem. Hey, a free Razor Standard, that'll help nicely. Well, that'll help the skinks quite nicely. Mission issued. Recruit the following type of unit. War Beast, we were just about to do so, though. Huh. We could spend the time to recruit one, and then... War Beast. I assume that counts the dinos. Anyway, what I was saying was we could spend the time to recruit one. I wonder if Feral Cold Ones count. It says Cold One Cavalry, so probably not, eh? Yeah. And we could save a bit of cash, but we'd also use up a lot of turns doing so. Kroxigors probably don't count for that, eh? And we are starting to lose out on a little bit of income. Anyway, for now, first things first. Tyrannicon, you are going to grab that Razor Standard and buff up your red crests. Also, did you level up? You did level up. Good job. Recruitment cost reduction. Okay, horde growth is useless. Frankly, you're probably never going to be recruiting, so I don't know. Corruption reduction is probably useless as well. I guess let's go one horde growth. Still going to move towards geomantic sustenance. All right, then Nakai. I guess we're going to take Sharpthorn Forest. I could besiege it, but frankly, it's barely got anything in there, so we're going here anyway, and we're still going to be building stuff. Alrighty. Oh, I did want to check another thing, though. Alright, sorry about the sort of admin here, but, you know, before splitting off, it's kind of necessary. I did end up cutting out this sort of part, the sort of mid-game recruitment of my Noctilus campaign. I don't know whether I should have done that here. Hey, we have an enlightened skink priest. I think we should get this one on field as well. I am tempted by the instrument of Tepok, admittedly, but anyway. Let's get the enlightened one. Although Skymaster would also lorefully feel like it would be appropriate for the Pterodon Riders, and they could use the Manticore summon potentially. But I really do like the enlightened ones. Anyway, we'll still get the enlightened one on the field, and it doesn't necessarily have to go into that army. It could go into our Kroxigor Ancients army. And you know what? I think from what we've seen, it seems unlikely that the summon is going to happen. So we'll rename you to Teto Echo, like so. As in, it seems that it hasn't actually been added. I would have thought that it would be added by SFO as a legendary hero. I'm surprised they didn't do it. Anyway, Skink Chiefs and Priests. Okay, so let's get you where you need to be. So you are a Blessed by Sotek Skink Priest. You are... Yeah, I forgot which army they're going to. Okay, they're going to Tyrannicon's army. He has 19 units. Okay, so first of all, you go here. We can... I guess we can lose one of the Skink cohorts with Javelins. Probably not needed. You know what? You can transfer it to Cytochrome, I guess. Cytochrome. Here, take this. Lose both of these. Like so. Then, we will take the Skink Chief, and we will transfer it to Tyrannicon. Because he has to have a functional army by himself, essentially. Like so. And you're going to move into this army. I did put a Skink Chief in this army already. Alright, and then you're going to go in here. I hope I did that right. As in the correct skink chief. So you have the primal strength. Okay, so yeah, you're fine. And we have the heroes, and then we'll put an Ark of Sotek in here, and then we might slightly modify the army if needed. Otherwise, Nakai... You know what? I think since we've had a lot... Okay, here's what we'll do. Alright, we'll spend... Yeah. Okay, we'll auto-resolve this. No choice in the matter. Auto-resolve. Basically minimal damage, and then we'll... Do we want to maybe just max out Quetzal? I might as well max it out. There we go. Quetzal's done. Beautiful. Glory to Quetzal. Anyway, so what I'm now thinking is that since we're going to spend 4 turns recruiting... Ooh, free Rod of the Storm. That's nice. Flashback the Thunderer is coming back. The legendary Lizardmen from a previous campaign. Stegodon for you, good. Don't forget to wipe them out. Oh, I counted. Go figure. Anyway, so here's what we'll do. Nakai will spend the turn... 2 turns, I guess. And despite the quest, recruiting some war beasts. 1, 2, 3. Wait, I built 2 Arks of Sotek? No, let's do 1, 2. You know what, maybe we forego the Basties with solar engines for now. You know what? Let's do this. Because the other army is not ready yet, and it's going to be staying with the Nakai anyway. This way, we can give Tyrannicon 3 Arks of Sotek. I guess we'll take out another skink cohort with javelins. We can combine them with Croxigors or something in another army. This is sort of a Sotek-focused army, because I don't want to lose the red skinks and the red-crested skinks and the Basties with Ark of Sotek. I think I'd like that more. Especially since we do also have skink skirmishers and chameleon skinks in here. I think it'll make more sense like that. Anyway, once this recruitment is done, we will do the quest battle. And then just because we've been auto-resolving a few of these sort of garbage settlements of the enemy, I think that'll give us a nice little bit of variety. And as soon as, yeah, we'll do the quest battle and split off. Yeah. Especially, and we'll need to because our money is going to be dropping by like 1,500 gold per turn after this. But it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do and all that. Skip, 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 and turn twice. Alright, there we go. There's the War Beast focus, but, well, I didn't want to wait the extra 2 turns, so I think it's better that we did it this way. Alright, so let's prepare to do the quest fight, which looked pretty tough with all those chosen and aspiring champions and all that. So, Cytochrome. Alright, who needs what? First of all, Tyrannicon. Okay, wait, Cytochrome, you're going to take the... Actually, you know what? Here's what we'll do. Tyrannicon, you are going to transfer 1 additional skink cohort with javelins, whatever. Then, Nakai, or Tyrannicon, you're going to take both of the Arks of Sotek, thereby completing your army, and you're free to go now. Free to go wherever you please, which, for now, is going to be, I guess, down to... Huh! I wonder if Kugath is there. Anyway, you're free to go. So, start march stancing, or, well, I can't do underway stance, unfortunately, but that's fine. Trespass a little bit. And away you go. I hope I didn't forget anything, because you're out of here now. And then the Skink Priest of Heavens can join another army. If Kugath is down there, you're going to have a tough time with it, but, well, trial by fire and all that, trial by plague. You, with Enlightened, are going to join, I guess, Cytochrome for now. Like so. Now, Nakai. To prepare for your quest battle, we need to swap out units, so... We will bring back the Amexon Barb and the Basti with the Reeve of Crystal. Let's swap out the higher level Pterodon Riders and I guess the higher level... We could do the Chameleon Stalkers, or we could do the Cold One Riders. I mean, Nakai will have Chameleon Stalkers, so let's do that for now. I like so. Alright, and like I said, I do intend to actually transfer Nakai's leveled up Croxigors to this army. In fact, we might do it after, well, maybe not right now because we can't afford multiple armies as yet, but soon. Anyway, let's level up and then let's jump into the fight. Do any of you, okay, first of all, what do we have here? You're on the Steg, not on the Ancient Steg, but the Steg. Do any of you need items? Well, let's see what we got here. I kind of want to keep the Plaque of Dominion. Leadership Shock might be useful, and frankly, the Rod of the Storm might be useful as well. Scroll Blast I don't care for, but there's nothing to sort of delete. Relic Sword, okay, we could delete the Dagger of Sotek, but it is magical damage. I'm almost tempted to put it on the other units. Spell Resistances, okay, so all of the Skink Chiefs, or Priests rather, will want those spell resistances. I just don't remember who has what Skink Chiefs. Okay, our Skink Priests rather, ugh. Alright, Cloak of Feathers, and you have one as well. Skink Priest. Cloak of Feathers, like so. Alright, yeah, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to do the itemization right now. Let's just level up and go. So, Nakai. What do we want for this? We might as well max out Cold-Blooded Reflex. Well, you can get Blade Master, it hit real hard. Yeah, fine. Let's go Blade Master and Cold-Blooded Reflexes. A mix between the two. Would have been nice to have the Miasma of Despair. Sounds ominous, but it's alright. Lord Croak, I got 5 points on you. Not too bad. Hit points, wins the magic power reserve capacity, own armies faction-wide is really, really nice, but the Slan we are not yet ready for. Eventually. I wanted to go through this in order to get Grand Palanquin. Although, it's not going to be useful for this particular fight. Alright, you know what? Let's do Deliverance of Itza, the basic version. Let's do one more point in Supreme Shield of the old ones. And it looks like a tough fight, so let's do... I could do Regeneration just in case. Bear Replenishment Delay. Yeah, because we shouldn't trust Lord Croak getting wrecked by something. First spawn... Oh, wait, I forgot we had the ward save for the Hero's Army. A little bit of research rate as well. Telekinesis, okay, fine. Greater Ward of the old ones, I guess we'll go Eldest of the first generation and Grand Palanquin afterwards, because who knows? It looks like a reasonably tough fight with all those elites. Honored Elder for ward save for our now Carnosaur riding Saurus Scarvet, and missile resistance, probably not super useful against Chaos. We could give him Vanguard deployment just in case, but I imagine it's not going to be crazy useful here. Let's just get you Blade Shield. Alright. Skink Chief, you're on your Steg now as well. And you are leveling up your Skinks, but there's more Skinks to level. Missile resistance, physical resistance, leadership, and weapon and missile strength. I'm gonna say start with the missile resistance, not that it really matters over much, and physical resistance for skink units. There we go. We're not gonna have a crazy amount of skinks, but the Chameleon Stalkers I think will work nicely with their high melee defense, as it combines with the sort of more attack-ly nature and less fragile nature of the Croxagors. You, Teto Echo now. Comet of Cassandora, Urnon's Thunderbolt could potentially be useful against the... Yeah, let's go for Power Sap. And you are one rank short of the Steg, but we're not waiting. Alright, there we go. That's good enough. Nakai, it's time for you to go, sir. I'm not going to swap anymore. I was going to say maybe we should swap out one of the Basties, but it's fine. Quest time. The Ogham Shard. The all-knowing, seemingly ever-living Slan have revealed the location of several ancient structures in locations right across the world pond, which prevents the forces of chaos from spilling out into our dimension and marauding across the old and new worlds. But it has also come to light that one such shard was now under direct threat from the very faction it was designed to repel. If just a single one falls, the bonds which hold back chaos would be broken, and all hell would undoubtedly break loose. Nakai's scouting party reports that the Chaos Army have brought their Norscan puppets along for the fray too, but they will be mere fodder for his lightning-fast talons. He will strike fast and weaken their resolve. Wait, so Nakai has talons? Wait, so, okay, but there was a lot of different answers and discussion about the talon and claw thing in the previous episodes. So now here's the question. If birds of prey usually have talons, and then other things usually have claws, so do dinosaurs have talons, or do dinosaurs have claws? What are we referring to them? Because this is clearly referring to Nakai's as talons. Anyway, teleport. Let's see what we can do about this. Valiant defeat casualties. We got Chaos Knights, we got Aspiring Champions, we got Chosen, level 19 enemy Lord Hellcannon, Dragon Ogres, and reinforcements as well. We'll take the Rampager standard and pop it onto Mr. Carnosaur Rider here, and we're gonna need ya. Somebody's gonna need to knock out those Aspiring Champions and stuff. On the rain-soaked marshes of Albion, Nakai primes himself for battle. A distant memory seems to linger in his primitive mind, a vague familiarity with his surroundings that the warmbloods might call déjà vu. Had the Old Ones guided him to this place before in a previous era? As a Kroxigor ancient, Nakai knows not his own age, nor does he really understand his purpose, but he is consumed by it. Whatever the ancient enemy are planning, Nakai knows that the puppet's something. I really wish that it would be longer, but anyway, that guy's gonna bonk him. Alrighty, here we go. Next quest battle with a lot of elite chaos forces. We'll see how well we can handle this. And ooh, what do we have here? Looking pretty neat. Big ol' Ogham stone, I take it. Burning with presumably chaos energies as the enemy tries to bring it down or whatever it is they're trying to do to it. Anyway, and the big threat well, actually, there's a lot of big threats in the enemy army. However, we don't really want to approach the first enemy army under fire from that hell cannon. Fortunately for us, Chaos does not have too much in the way of anti-air, especially not in this particular battle, slash on this particular battlefield, so that's a job for our flyers. We're going to move around the hell cannon and its ability to fire, and then move the fire leech bolas to bring the hell cannon's crew down. And starting off with dropping a few bombs right on top of those Chaos Dwarfs. Out of curiosity, do the Chaos Dwarf crew have a massive amount of fire resistance? Because they should, in theory. 25%. Alright, so more than the regular Chaos units. Makes sense. Alrighty, there we go. Bombs were away, and that did about half of the HP in terms of damage in terms of the Hell Cannon, but now we have to continue firing upon the crew until they're gone. Looks like the cannon did manage to get off, I believe, 2 shots, possibly a third. Nope, it'll break before getting a third one out. And it turns out that it was good that we decided not to approach the enemy army at this time until the Hell Cannon was destroyed, because reinforcements have arrived, and it's fast-moving reinforcements by and large, lots of Chaos Knights and stuff, so we'll simply destroy these guys before heading out to kill off the enemy's main force. We are blobbed up quite a bit right now, but you know, we're facing off against Chosen and Aspiring Champions, and having units get isolated and destroyed is probably not the best idea, so we'll take advantage of the good old-fashioned Lizardmen Death Star. Anyway, oh wow, that's wow, that's a lot of javelins in this guy and this guy's horse, damn. Out of curiosity, looks like he took, what, maybe 15% damage from that, and then is gonna get bonked apart by Nakai. Presumably, the enemy lord will also drop a Searing Doom upon us, but it's time to move one of our hero-riding stags, and our hero-riding stags? Slash a giggle, but also, oh no, but also stag mounted here, hero mounted on stag, you know, whatever. Anyway, the little tiny skinks are going to work together with the Kroxigors to meet the enemy Chaos Knights before they have a chance to charge us. I'm going to try to drop a minor Deliverance of Itza upon them, but the enemy Chaos Knights smartly move away before they can do so, or before the Deliverance hits, so good for them. Skink Chief, the enemy Lord, who I tried to click and saw the Skink Chief, instead still embroiled in combat with our Kroxigors and with Nakai himself as the enemy moves on in. Unfortunately for the enemy, they're not going to achieve much here against the blob, because we have dropped the Curse of the Midnight Wind upon them, massively reducing their melee attack and defense, and the Shield of the Old Ones is also up to give us that lovely damage resistance. On top of that, the most dangerous portion, which is usually the flank, is where we have our Chameleon Stalkers being embroiled in combat against the Chaos Knights. However, we now have access to that protection of Quetzal. That's 60 full seconds of unbreakable and invulnerable, meaning these skinks are going to be just fine, completely untouched by the Chaos Knights for 60 seconds, which is just fantastic. I thought that the protection ability might not be crazy useful, but in consideration of the skinks and their fragility, this is actually going to be an extremely useful ability throughout the course of the campaign. And those guys will be able to hold off Chaos Knights by virtue of it. Speaking of Chaos Knights, there are plenty more where that came from. Our Kroxigor pile is surrounded with the healing basties in the center of the blob. I do believe Nakai has defeated the first of the enemy lords, and I believe the second one might have actually been obliterated in the blob as well. And yeah, those Chameleon Stalkers, completely full HP despite taking repeated charges from various Chaos Knights. And once again, speaking of Chaos Knights, we got plenty more where that came from again, as I believe the first enemy host also had some Chaos Knights and they moved in to reinforce. It does look like the protection of Quetzal is up now, and thus some of the skinks are going to start taking damage, but with all the dinos and the Kroxigors whacking away at those Chaos Knights, I don't imagine they'll be sticking around for too much longer. Does look like the rest of the enemy main host is moving on in. The Dragon Ogres will lead. And the Dragon Ogres kind of remind me that we should try to ally with the... oh, even more Chaos Knights, okay. Should try to ally with Wood Elves as fast as possible, not even for the trees, but for the Zoats, as the Zoats will work very nicely in our armies, providing a little bit of additional Lure of Life support in addition to the healing from our Reviv crystals. Anyway, man, the enemy has brought so many Chaos Knights between these two armies. Got to be at least half a stack full of them. Alright, they're definitely going to send some of these skinks flying now, but at least we can sort of stagger the debuffs, as in we use the Curse of the Midnight Wind, then we use the protection of Quetzal, and then we use the Curse of the Midnight Wind again after it's up. Which means, once again, protecting those skinks. And by the looks of it, the strategy is paying off. The balance of power is at about 80-85% in our favor, and while the last of the enemy infantry are moving in, are relatively unharmed by the Fire Leech Bolas, as, well, you don't expect those to do damage to aspiring champions or chosen. The Kroxigor Blunder and the limited amount of giant units that we have, or monsters that we have, are absolutely tearing through those chosen. Alrighty, now, generally speaking, I'm not going to bother using the sort of Death Star formation in this particular army, because I don't find it super interesting to look at, generally speaking, but we're still in the relatively early game, and ooh, I love that animation from the Carnosaur. We're still in the relatively early game, and I don't want this army to get heavily damaged by all the aspiring champions and chosen and all that. Alrighty, and by the looks of it, the enemy army is done. There we go. Just like that, they'll shatter. Their lords' bodies were long ago shattered by Nakai and the Carnosaur now riding Saurus Scarvet, and we're good. There we go. Acquire that Ogham shard. Almost a shame, because as an item it's kind of blah, but, you know, the horde growth, at least until we max out Nakai's horde, will be pretty useful. Alright, there we go. Love that post-battle loot now. Ooh, we really needed it, but finally it looks like we're starting to make some cash. That fight was definitely a lot easier than the fight for the first quest battle, but it also does make sense considering our army was weaker at that point, A and B. Like all escort quest-ish battles, that one was always going to be of some annoyance. Otherwise, we're good. Let's see. Damage-wise, at 14k... no, at 16k, Pets of Steve Irwin have brought glory to Steve's name. Not that he needed it. 25,000 damage on the regular steg. Lord Croak did decent at 38k damage, but obviously we weren't relying on him to kill aspiring champions and chosen and dragon ogres and the like. Solid damage out of our Saurus Scarvet as well. Lovely. Ritual Purification. We'll take it, and we will get, I guess, Star Chamber Guardians. Ooh, Pale Death Feral Troglodyte. All stuff we can't yet afford, but eventually, guys, eventually. Ancient Steg for Conquatok and regular Steg for Teto Echo. I might put Teto Echo back on the flyer. I will think about it. I do like his ability to reposition himself constantly. In fact, I really like that ability, but if we have no other flyers in Nakai's army, there will be no one essentially to keep him safe if he should get attacked by stuff. Though they are so darn quick on those pterodons that it's unlikely that anything happens, but still have to be wary. Be wary, though, I got that stuck in my head from the advisor, man. I mean, you know what? The mounts are going to change anyway as he keeps leveling, so let's keep him on the dino for now, and then we'll swap out. Anyway, our first army, Tyrannicon, has split off now, and has leveled up, because reasons. Let's get your Draft Master and into Geomantic Sustenance, which we clearly need ASAP. We also got to level you to replenish the troops as fast as we can, and maybe we'll save all the rest of the points for Huan Chi's Blessing. Trying to buff up those skinks as much as possible, as fast as possible. Like so. And then the skink priest can... Yeah, okay, so the reason that we have to have a beast lore guy, other than the Blessed by Sotek thing, for the Sotek army is that the Vissen's Wild form, the additional armor that it offers for the low-armored skinks is really, really helpful in terms of letting them fight. And of course, Pan's Penetrable Pelt and Flock of Doom, both tremendously useful. Like so. Curse of Anra here can potentially be quite useful as well. Basically, the Lure of Beasts excels at making weak troops into strong troops, and while the skinks are hardly weak, they could be a little bit stronger. Anyway, I'm excited to see what this army can do. Double checking again. Melee attack, melee defense, and leadership. Yeah, so once again, the Sotek's champion thing does mostly give additional buffs to melee units, so I might swap out a couple of the skink skirmishers for a couple more chameleon stalkers, as this probably is going to be a little bit of a heavier melee army. Actually, just out of curiosity, how much does it cost to... Yeah, okay, no. We'll have Nakai recruit for you before we split you off. And I do like the idea of having the skink armies function completely different from each other. So that's nice as well. Alrighty, anyway, Nakai, you're going to Corn all the way up north. So let's march stance you. The other two armies are going to stick with you for now as well. And we'll see how quickly we can rack up enough cash to... Oh, wow. Maybe we could travel further or faster via the tunneling stance. I forgot what I was saying, but these guys will travel with them to get their other units. Which they certainly need. Now, where's Queek in this map? I see Skaven Corruption here. If this is Scarbrand, then I want to focus on that. I see Dringo Karez. Assuming that Queek's in roughly the same place, he should be around here. Should be a lot of Skaven to be fighting. And, ooh, looks like Kugath is advancing. He's got 9 settlements now. Good. Hankering to fight some of those Nurglites there. Do we want to pop off any of these? We want to wait until the Rite of Mastery. I do want to keep double-checking heroes and lords in case there's interesting ones, though. I do, once again, really like the Resilience one. And, yeah, both of these are fine as well. Skinks, we got the Primal Strength again, and Skink Priests, we got Still Lucky, which ain't too bad. We've got another Blessed by Sotek, and then that Instrument of Tepok. Well, we could... I mean, the Feral Basties, the regular Feral Basties being relatively cheap, we could definitely have an army focused a little bit on the Feral Basties. Not quite as line troops, but we could mix them with various things. And that should be fun. Anyway, we need to make the money first, so let's start doing that. What do we hear? Ensure more Saurus are spawned. Recruitment minus 50% for Saurus units. It's only for 5% for 5 turns. Oh, we got the Skink and Chameleon Skink unit recruitment as well. We're gonna go for the cheaper units as well, so we probably will actually make some use of this as we travel northward. It might allow for our second skink army to peel off rather soon as well, which will mean more variety and all that, so I like it. Let's give us a read though. Recent spawnings have favored the artisan skinks over the Saurus warrior caste. Indeed, workers are important to the great plan, but the world is threatened from within also and must be defended. You must be prepared for whatever foul ploy the vile servants of the ancient enemy or the great horned rat may unleash next. Do not intervene in the pattern of spawnings. The spawnings follow the great plan. All things happen for a reason, and the skinks have their part to play. Society must not grind to a halt. Makes sense to me. Favoring economy and all that. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Ooh. 10 more turns until we can get the sequence of traversal in that additional campaign movement range, which all armies will benefit from. Next up, Nakai, you... I mean, well, we could probably wait a few turns before we actually recruit anything, and Khorne is actually relatively close. Ooh, I want to see whether we could travel further via tunneling. Just slightly further, so yes. Tunnel this way, my friend. And then you can just march stance. We should be able to build the second skink army up pretty darn quickly. You actually can't travel as far in tunneling stance as Nakai can. That's okay. Alright, Setacrom. And you're holding some skinks, some of them for Nakai, some of them for the other armies. The Pterodon Riders with Fireleech Bolas are going to leave Nakai's army and move into this army. Yeah, this army is actually nearly ready, and frankly our Cold One army should be up and running fairly soon as well. Oh, it should be fun. Just gotta make sure we get the appropriate lord for it. Cytochrome, what I would like you to do is actually now... grab Miasma of Despair. But I think maybe we start moving through this. Go through Ancient Cunning and try to get to Geomantic Sustenance as fast as you can. Keep that army, your army, is reasonably cheap. Nakai, probably didn't actually need to start leveling you right now, but let's get you Blade Master and Enforcer of Order, because, well, that's what you are. Alright, and keep on moving. How do the elves feel about us? They're okay. They're okay. Everybody's okay. Nobody panic. And what do we have here? Ragnar Sidious. We cannot reach you this turn, but we will be able to next turn. Hopefully the plague isn't due too much to us. Let us go into ambush stance near him. Ooh. They are at war with these guys. I kind of don't like sharing the territories. We could always raise this and then allow these guys to take it if we feel like it. Well, we do need to raise the other temples for Itzel and Sri Lanka, though. How well will these... these places won't be able to defend themselves. Alright, fine. We will... Are you able to reach this in one go? You are. Go here. We'll see if this guy reacts to this at all, whether he tries to go for the Tomb of Kaliaman or not. You little army could move to reinforce. Is there another nearby army that could do so? I think not. Well, these guys are also close. Oh, wow, you're highly leveled. But that's our faction leader's army. Well, the faction leader's army. You got more Saurus. Not shielded ones and some feral cold ones. Yeah, see, these guys are using an algorithm to build their armies. I kind of like this one more because it has less of these skink cohorts because they're kind of terrible. Let's go with this one. It's also not a full stack. Oh, it's not a full stack. It's only by one unit. Yeah, let's borrow you. Alright, and you can move down to help Kugath with more skink spam. Love it. Alright, skip. Let's get to Khorne. A mission issued. Carry or assassinate. This is probably not going to happen. Anyway, and Nakai, go just past Crow's Edge here. Let's see what we got. Not quite into the Khorne territory, perhaps. Here. And, okay, it is not, in fact, Scarbrand, some other guy, but it is a guy worth killing. Lots of... Ooh, and look at those defenses. Yeah, you gotta love the Khornate factions for that. And a little Greenskin faction nearby as well. You guys probably won't be able to travel as far, so just go via march stance. And you two just stick together to make sure you can protect each other. As it's probably going to be a little bit tough to keep up with Nakai. 400 old ones favor at this point, eh? We could get Metamorphosis for the Casualty or Punishment trade, which is nice, but I think for now we're mostly okay. Nakai will lead you in defending for 60 seconds. What's the likelihood that we're actually defending? Pretty low, right? Nothing here is super critical. At least not right now. We should also maybe start getting a few tech thieves up and running in various locations. And hello, a Kugath himself. Wellity. Will we even be able to bring him down with the skink army? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I am going to be very entertained by trying. So, you, move on in. Kugath. Let's see what we can do about you, shall we? Hopefully by killing off the rest of his army, we can force him to rout the... Damn, his spells and his damage is going to be devastating to all the poor little skinks, and we also gotta remember that we won't have the... we won't have Vanguard deployment here. Let's get another pointed flock of doom, however. We're going to need it against the... I'm gonna need it against the Nurgling spam. Anything here that will help? Probably not, eh? Alright, do we need items? I mean, maybe we do, but I'm kind of too lazy to look through them, so I think we're just gonna fight. That's a question. We could leave Kugath to take the tomb and... But then... I don't want to. I still am on the fence about whether we should fight these guys or leave them alone. They're not too liked by the elves, and they're not too liked by the Golden Order, though I would feel bad for wiping out Katep. How many territories does he have? 3 territories. 1, 2, and then... Oh, where's his last one? Oh, he has one here. Is this his capital all the way here? No, Wyvern Cliffs. Do we wipe him out? I might put this to a vote. You know what? I'm probably going to put this to a vote. Do we wipe out Katep or do we not wipe out Katep? We'll do it on the free portion of Patreon. You guys let me know. And then we might do separate votes for just generally factions. Wipe out Kislev, wipe out Golden Order, etc., etc., etc. So please do vote below. I'll link it in the comments. Also, if you guys have suggestions for which factions we do keep alive, as to specifically which units we might want to borrow for various other factions, from various other factions, let me know about their thoughts on those as well. For now, it's the only thing that's coming to me is Phoenixes from the Elves, and obviously a lot of stuff from Cathay. War Drums would be really helpful, but also, you know, things like Great Moonbirds and Celestial Lions, really anything. Beastly. Anyway, we'll join the war, and possibly against you, depending on how the vote goes. Frankly, these guys are pretty much destroyed already, so it wouldn't really be much of a difference anyway. Anyway, Kugath, you're about to have a bad time, sir. Or at least I hope. Let's do this. We're gonna give these guys additional damage. And we gotta make sure to not allow these guys to fall. Away you go, skinks. Alrighty, here we go. Skinks versus Kugath. Let's see if we can manage to pull this off. We're gonna start the battle with our Vanguard deployed skink skirmishers. Their damage is very, very minimal, and yeah, you can see that they're barely damaging the plague bearers, but they are slowing them down. A little bit of poison, annoying the Nurglites with that of which they were born, but, well, let's see how many darts they can take before this unit of plague bearers is sufficiently damaged. And that is 2 units of skirmishers and 2 units of chameleon skinks firing away at 1 unit. And of course, with the poison, the plague bearers move at 22 speed. If we were wanting to essentially draw them around the map, there would be no way that they would be able to catch these guys, that they'd just be too slow. Anyway, Kugath is firing away, and by the looks of it, is going to attempt to fire upon our skink chief. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, as the rest of our army is on the approach, but while Kugath will not get as much damage as he would against regular units, he is actually still doing plenty, firing at the chief, so, interesting. Alrighty, well, anyway, time to back off now. We've done a little bit of trickle damage to one of the units of Plague Bearers, and it's time to turn upon the enemy Plague Toads. Rather than let the Plague Toads go after our Skink Skirmishers or our Chameleon Skinks, we're going to take our single Skink Chief on Pterodon and then drop down and distract the Plague Toads while we continue annoying them with the Chameleon Skinks, and then move the Chameleon Stalkers in to help out in melee. And there we are. Similar to the Chameleon Stalkers, we got the Red Crests now facing off against the piles of enemy Plague Bearers, and the 3 Arcs of Sotek helping out as well. Flocks of Doom coming down upon the enemy. and we'll see how well we do. Love the sort of mauls coming down from all those little red crests. And cohort of Sotek to be specific here. And it's always a blast watching Nurglings fight. Just such a funny unit. And man, yeah, just a lot of action on screen at the same time. These skinks all flipping around as they fight the Nurglings, all flipping around as they fight the Ark of Sotek, holding back the enemy beasts of Nurgle in the background and anchoring the line as it does. Same thing is essentially repeating itself on all sides of the map as these skinks and the Arks hold the enemy. And we'll see how much damage they take in attempting to do so. Kugath has surprisingly done a massive amount of damage to our red-crested skink chief, dropping him down to about 40% of his HP, and is now going to be trying to focus down the skink priest of beasts while said skink priest is slowed by the curse of the slug. I'm surprised and impressed by how much damage Kugath was able to do to a tiny single entity like this, as opposed to firing into a blob of units. Alrighty, and it does look like the enemy had a decent idea with its Plague Ridden, charging in to stop one of our units of Chameleon Skinks from firing, but that's alright. Our Red Crest Skink Chief has arrived and activated that Warrior Crest, giving him 120 and 80 melee attack and defense in terms of his stats. And with the Chameleon Skinks staying here, as well as the Skink Chief helping out, I don't think this Plague Ridden is going to be able to get out of here, and has already lost about 60% of its HP. First of the enemy units on the left flank are starting to collapse as the Plague Ridden have been overrun by the combination of Chameleon Stalkers and Red-Crested Skinks. And without the need for the Ark of Sotek over there, we are going to send it to where the fighting is currently the thickest. We already have one in the center where those Beasts of Nurgle are still being held off, and then over on the right flank we have the piles of enemy Plague Toads. Similar to our other battle, we are using the Protection of Eitzel to prevent our most damaged unit from losing any units with that invulnerability and stuff. And on top of that, we are interspersing it with Vissen's Wild Form, so we give them massive amounts of armor, and then once that is up, we make them invulnerable for 60 seconds, and then we go for the armor again. Quite a nice potent combination. Granted, the protection only applies to one unit, but still pretty darn solid. Alright, and it looks like the enemy Plague Bearers are overrun. The balance of power is at about 90% in our favor, and while we have taken about, let's say 50% HP at the highest in terms of damage, but generally speaking about 25% HP damage to most of our units, I'm gonna say that's pretty darn good. I thought that we would be doing a lot worse here. Still, we have to bring down Kugath himself, and Big Boy has a lot of HP. Decent medium armor. What are his resistances like? 60% missile resistance and 20% physical. Wow, so against non-magical missiles, he's got nearly maximum amount. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to bring him down. Plus, he's got Fecundity, he's got his own heals, he's got Fleshy Abundance, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, the cohort of Sotek is gonna lead, and we're gonna use that Refuse to Die ability that they have. This is their own ability. And they can freely charge Kugath, who would otherwise be, mincing them like nobody's business. But they're safe to bonk away at him with their mauls. Miasma Pestilence is going to hit him, and of course Kugath will hit them repeatedly, but they'll only lose HP and not units, at least while they have Refused to Die up and running. And then as soon as it drops away, we're going to activate that protection of Eitzel. There we go, or Quetzal. No, it's Quetzal, yeah. Alright, and they're invulnerable once again and still surrounding Kugath. This is the perfect use of this particular thing, and then once all that's done, we could just give them more armor using Vissen's Wild Form. Of course, hopefully by then, Kugath will be done for. 2 Arks of Sotek attacking him, our Red-Crested Skink Chief Tyrannicon getting him in the back, and I believe the 3rd Ark of Sotek moving in and getting ready to go. All the while, the remnants of our ammunition smack into Kugath as well, though I believe we're pretty much out of ammunition on 3 units, but it looks like we're not gonna need it. as the damage has finally told, and with that, Kugath is down. Beautiful. More likely than not, in fact, I guarantee it, we will be seeing him again, because he does have a decent amount of territory, and there's no way that we claim it all before he revives, but yeah, that was pretty good. Once again, a lot better than I thought it would go, and I'm very proud of the little guys. Ooh, good lord, does it take a lot of effort to bring Kugath down. He still managed to get about 10k HP, but the combination of the cohort of Sotek's ability that lets them not have any units of theirs die for 20 seconds, was it 20 seconds? Whatever, 30 seconds, plus the protection of Quetzal, that's similar to the way that we protected all of our skinks from dying during Nakai's quest battle, and usually they would have been obliterated by the charges of the Chaos Knights and Chosen and all of that. But same thing here, protecting our little guys with the protection of Quetzal. A really, really nice ability, and it's 60 seconds of units can't die, so for the fragile skinks it is a godsend, an old one send. So yeah, it worked out nicely. Kugath's main stack is destroyed and the skinks march ever on. We could heal... oh wait, are we in... we're not in our own ally. Nah, we're not in our territory, are we? I mean, we could encamp still. It's 3,000 gold. I'm disinclined to say no to it, even if there is another army nearby. Also, just out of curiosity, we got 16k, 13k, and 11k on the Arcs of Sotek. Did pretty darn well. And then once again, I am thinking about retooling this army to be, once again, a little bit more melee heavy. Definitely remove the skink skirmishers, at least for another couple of chameleon stalkers, since our lord mostly buffs skinks in melee and not really in range. Anyway, Kugath is out. I forgot that he gives horde growth. It's a useless on everybody, but it isn't actually useless on Nakai. Go figure. Oh no. I completely forgot about that. Darn. I think somebody mentioned it too. But oh well. Yeah, because Nakai's gonna need a lot of horde growth to get all of the pyramids up and running, which he desperately wants. But, I suppose what we could do is heavily damage Kugath and not wipe him out, as Nakai will likely go after going through Cornate territories and then Skaven territories, loop back around down here, because we could move sort of into Nehekara, fight some undead there, maybe fight some, well, Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts, whatever else is in there. Certainly a possibility. Although, the Tomb King constructs might not be... they might somewhat fit in with our units. The main problem would be keeping them alive. But I suppose... and they do have animals' heads. The various Ushabti and stuff. There's certainly potential. Anyway, we could immediately go after Ragnar Sidious, but we're kind of in the same situation here where... you know what, maybe we'll try an ambush. Wait, can he reach... he can't reach Tarsik. Maybe we can try to use Tarsik as a... go here. Use Tarsik as bait. Yeah, the same situation with the Bilious Thunderguff, or not Bilious Thunderguff, Uncle Furuncle, where just like Kugath's going to be a very difficult time bringing him down. And unlike Kugath's battle, where Kugath was definitely heavily... his army generally debuffed by the vigor loss reduction of being in march stance. These guys are not in march stance, so yeah. Anyway, let's hope the corn sticks around, because we're going to want to be attacking them next turn. We got another level shortly for Mr. Lord Croak. Oh, yeah, soon, Grand Palanquin, soon. Darn, there was a full greenskin stack here, but it presumably failed attacking Crow's Edge? I guess that's what happened. Oh well, not a big deal to us, certainly. Nakai, you are near these guys, and they are sticking around. We've got, basically between these two, a full stack, and then the very nice garrison. Corn garrisons are insane. All those Chaos Warriors of Corn, various kinds. We got Gorbeast Chariots. Oh, I love Gorbeast Chariots. Blood Shrines. That's a good army, or a good several stacks. I'm going to enjoy this. You guys will have to march stance forward, but oh, we get the attrition. I wonder if it stays after we chase him down. Guess we're about to find out. You go here. You go right to the... oh, you might not be able to... that's a question. Can't quite travel as far like this either. Might not be able to reinforce with you, unfortunately. Not that we really need to, I just want to leech the XP, but if it's not possible, it's not possible. Oh well. I mean, we could attack this guy, draw the garrison out. Is that actually a good idea, however? Actually, it depends. If he runs away, then no, but he might not run. Alright, well, we're gonna level either way. Nakai, or rather Lord Croak, let's get your Grand Palanquin. You, Prajol. We were looking to move towards Deadly Onslaught. There was other stuff that we wanted as well, but I think we'll start with Deadly Onslaught. Get that Scarred Vet. Damage is great, but, you know, being alive to do the damage is also pretty great. Resilient. Although the missile resistance against Khorne, once again, not the most useful. And what do we got here? Comet Cassandora, Harmonic Convergence, Renown's Thunderbolt. Miscast base chance? Yeah, I don't think Lord Croak is miscasting. Let's get Comet Cassandora. Frankly, I doubt that we'll be using either one of those, but it's fine. You are currently at war with Red Fangs. Well, they'll be grateful. No, they won't, because they're probably Greenskins, but anyway. If anything, I'll be super ungrateful because we're taking away a nice fight from them. Alright, let's try to go after Carnal Stare here just because... Wait. Did I... Oh, we have to directly declare war on you. Fair enough. And, ooh, do we get a mission immediately? We do get a mission immediately. Oh. Actually, we had a mission, but for some other Greenskins. Alright. I see the elves are certainly expanding into the mountains. You better not take anything that we actually want. We don't really care about the territory, but we do very much care about the defeat traits. Anyway. Oh, we can still go directly for the Lost Hold. And they'll still reinforce. Beautiful. That way we won't have to chase down and fight the Lost Idol fight again. Happy with that. And then there's no chance of Carnal Stare, which is definitely a Slaaneshi name, running away. This'll be fun. We fought Nurgle. It's time to fight Khorne as we finally left the swamplands of the start of the campaign. The garrison units in particular should be interesting. Spawn of Khorne facing off against the Kroxigors. Though remember, an SFO spawn of Khorne are a single unit, and they are anti-infantry because they have that explosion ability when they take damage. Either way, should be a fun fight. Let's see if we can also get Mr. Carnal Stare to touch down and actually fight Nakai. Though usually enemy lords do tend to be a little bit too scared to do so. Go. Alrighty, here we go, and we're back with the variety in terms of this particular battle. Variety battles, I guess. We've faced off against Chaos, we faced off against Greenskins, we faced off against Nurgle this episode, and now we face off against Khorne as well. Now, in the first battle in this particular episode, we were facing off against 3 Greenskin stacks, but we brought both of our stacks, and we kind of obliterated the Greenskins so hard that, the Greenskins all over the world probably heard about it, but the point is they felt a little bit too easy, and so, in that light, we're not going to use the other armies, the bonus troops that we have here, and only use Nakai's army against these Khornate stacks. That should keep it nice and fun and interesting. Anyway, we are Vanguard deployed, so we're going to start the battle off by moving, well, towards the enemy, apparently, as they are booking it away from us. Not probably on purpose, and generally speaking, Khornates shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but they're doing this because the enemy is trying to reorient in order to shadow the movement of our own army. It's alright though, we'll fire some blow darts at them from Dino back as we move towards them. Nice to see that we finally have dinos as well. And you gotta love the fact that our Skink Chiefs and Skink Priests get these guys as mounts, because it's an easy way to acquire the heavier dinos in the earlier game before we can afford to build them otherwise. Anyway, Nakai, heedless of all the Khornates around, has moved towards the enemy. The Blood Shrine is here, the enemy Lord is here, a Blood Reaper, a Cultist, and another Cultist, and a bunch of other units as well. None of them, I think, want to fight Nakai, however, as he's already done 25% damage to the Blood Reaper and the enemy Lord, who has also used Murderous Exhortations and obviously called those Furies to try to help them out. That said, Nakai does not care about this in any way, and he's basically unharmed. And I want to point out that he's basically unharmed despite the fact that he is not using the Talisman of Preservation anymore. So he doesn't have nearly as much ward save as he once did. Alright, and it's time for the battle to be joined. Similar to what I said after the quest battle, we're not going to do a Death Star formation, and just going to spread our Kroxigors and just basically all of our units out along the entirety of the battlefield. Hopefully we can get some nice combat against the enemy meatballs here, the Chaos Spawn of Khorne. I love watching those cohort of Watlif fight as well. I gotta remember to get at least one more Sacred Kroxigor in this particular fight. Anyway, we're gonna bring down our missile resisting and ward save, giving a Supreme Shield of the Old Ones, that's the one. While we continue moving through the enemy lines, our Carnosaur is attempting to chase down the Gorby's chariots, but they are continuously attempting to get away. Nakai is still chasing the enemy lords and heroes around, just like he always does, and it looks like we're starting to take a little bit of damage over on the right flank. This one unit of Foxy Croxies, as generally speaking, the single unit over on the... Well, generally speaking, the flanks are the most dangerous positions, and most likely to get the most damage on them. And this battle is no exception. These guys are down to half of their HP, and I believe at this point have lost about 2 of their units. We have, however, moved in to provide them support with our Fire Leech Bolas, and periodically we'll be dropping the Harmonic Convergence on them to give them additional stats, in particular the melee defense. Otherwise, though, the enemy army is starting to be in pretty bad shape. The bounce power has shifted to about 80% in our favor, though I do imagine that the power bar is counting the reinforcements that have arrived. We're not going to use them to fight, but we will or can use them to chase the enemy, so that is still very much fair game. Anyway, the enemy's main line has at this point pretty much crumbled away, and the enemy Exalted Bloodthirster has now arrived, looking like it wants to go after Nakai's pet, the Amixon Barb, and we don't want any of that. Fortunately, unlike the other lords and heroes, this big boy should be a little bit easier to catch for Nakai, and maybe will actually give Nakai a nice fight. If he doesn't try to run away. Man, you gotta love Exalted Bloodthirsters, though. They're so fun. Kinda makes me want to play Khorne. But pretty much every faction that I play against, it always makes me want to play that faction, so... pretty used to that as well. Anyway, gonna clear out at least a few of the enemy with the Deliverance of Itza, and just a minor one, once again, just a basic one. And just trying to clear the path for Nakai to move towards the enemy Bloodthirster, who has lost about 50% of his HP while attempting to escape Nakai. Looks like Exalted Greater Demon or no, he's not much different than a regular lord. Ooh, he does send Nakai flying to the ground, though. Though Nakai's only suffered about 10% of his damage in terms of HP, even if he does get knocked back like that. That was a really nice move, though. I love it. Too bad there aren't more sync animations, because they're always so entertaining when they actually do happen. Anyway, unfortunately, the Exalted Bloodthirster is now unstable and down to 10% of his HP. A couple more hits, and it looks like he's going to melt away. Alright, I love all the steam coming up as he melts. And there we go, just the last remnants of the enemy Chaos Warriors and Forsaken now fighting under the Supreme Shield of the Old Ones, as well as the Curse of the Midnight Wind. Also loving all the sort of red versus blue color schemes that we got when we're fighting Khorne. And frankly, the red Khornate skies are really nice in terms of sort of making our units twice as visible as they normally would be. I really appreciate that. Anyway, I do believe the last of the enemy units are now in the fight. Of course, the demonic units, like the Exalted and regular Bloodletters, will have to be destroyed or banished to a single unit. But I'm sure we could do that without too much trouble, especially where Nakai is concerned. Alright, and Nakai doesn't even care about them. I believe he's trying to go after one of the enemy heroes, and I believe with that, the enemy army is done for, shattering and giving the battle to us. Our reinforcements, who we were going to use to chase the enemy, didn't even get here on time to chase them down, which is how quick we obliterated them, and clearly we didn't need the other armies. Not that I ever thought we did, it's just in the first battle I wanted to make sure that these guys got a little bit of chance to play around before they eventually get peeled off to, you know, go on their own journeys. Alrighty, there we go. Very, very nice, and we didn't even need the other armies to reinforce. Well, armies, such as they are, to reinforce. We were just fine. Nakai eventually managed to fight the enemy lord, though the first lord decided to run away from him, but, you know, who could blame him, and all of that. Kroxigor-wise, these scales were actually, no, by the looks of it, the Foxy Croxies again with 35.6k damage. And then close on their heels-ish, there are Croc and Roll as well. Good job to the 2 units of Chameleon Stalkers. Look at that, 25k damage on this unit, actually matching and beating even some of the Kroxigor units. Once again, Skinks not to be underestimated, and these Stalkers aren't even buffed in this particular army. Oh, I wonder if I should just put a couple of Kroxigors in the Skink army just to apply the buffs to them. Certainly something to think about, but anyway, for now we're good. We are going to, well, we're done with Quetzal for now, so I guess we're gonna go with Itzel next. Let me just double check here. I do get the Beasts of Itzel, which is nice to be able to summon the Razor Dawn hunting packs. This has the most important aspect, which is the Winds of Magic thing. Storm of Sri Lanka is a bound storm ability, which is nice as well. Frankly, both of them are fine. And neither of them is anything crazy. Oh, Winds of Magic costs for... Ooh, that is actually nice. Is that the... It's not the final point, but... anyway. We'll do this one for now. Alright, and then the remnants of that army are going to back away, and unfortunately we can't catch them, but we did destroy the vast majority there, so not a huge deal either. Hey, an Earthing Rod and an Armor of Destiny. Nice. Not for you most likely, but at least not right now. Tedo Echo has an Ancient Steg, Giltbloom's Terror, Feral Carnosaur is up and running, or available to us. Still 2,000 gold per turn. A loss, but we're still looking pretty okay. Alright, now, we should probably look to wipe out the Coronate factions. The Beast Stone, if there is no army there, what we could try to do is send the send Nakai's main stack to Pillar of Bones and have the other 2 wipe out the guys at the Beast Stone. We could also have Nakai recruit some stuff for this turn. Every turn I keep thinking, I shouldn't recruit, and then I inevitably do. Oh, but we can't also afford the primed Ziggurat now, but I feel like it's a bad idea right now. Now, is there anything that will take 1 turn to recruit? Yes, Flyers. Flyers would take 1 turn to recruit. Alright, fine. You're going to move towards Shulamar here. You're going to transfer to him the Pterodon Riders. Not the Chameleon Stalkers, but... Well, you know what? Transfer from Chameleon Stalkers for now. We'll transfer them back. And then we'll take the turn to build... So that War Beast focus. If we want to... We might make use of it and just stop somewhere and then just quickly grab a few Basties with Solar... Wait. Recruit rank +2 for War Beast units. Includes... It says it includes the Bastillodon, but they're recruiting at rank 1. Or rank 0. What the heck? Why? I don't understand. War Beast focus, +2 recruit rank, -25 recruit construction cost. It is not working anymore. It was working before. Well, either way, I did want the Basties of Solar Engines in the other army. Either way. Let's get some Pterodon Riders. Some of the regular variants. We already got 4 of the Fireleech Bolas in this one now. And in fact, you should probably take the Fireleech Bolas. Oh, you can't reach. Okay, fine. And then we'll get you some Skink Skirmishers as well that will eventually turn into Blessed Skink Skirmishers, hopefully, or just summon Blessed Skink Skirmishers another way. Anyway, let's see what we got here. You are going to move forward in, I guess, Astromancy stance doesn't really matter. And then... Oh, they've actually moved away. You little cowards. Alright, fair enough. Go right here in ambush, nonetheless. Stay near Tatarsic, and then 2 of you will work together on the armies of these guys. And... Atep. We kind of called dibs here, bud. I don't like that you're here. I do like your units, but I don't like that you're here. Once again, nobody would really be too upset if we wiped him out. I'm still going to hold a vote, though, because, you know. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else to do this particular turn. I don't believe that there is. Nakai is recruiting the regular Pterodon Flyers to join the Fire Leech Bolas, and frankly, this Skink army is nearly ready to go, which actually does mean that we need another Skink Chief and a Skink Priest for the army as well. We already have Primed Vigor, so we need other types. Let's see what we're looking at here. Another Primal Vigor, and then a Primal Strength. This would... Oh, we're at 5 out of 4, eh? Capacity is down... Oh. Because we'd need to activate the... Oh, the bonus capacity is only for 5 turns. That's quite interesting. So we can't actually build any more Skink Chiefs, and we can't see the Skink Priests, but we still do need them. You have Enlightened, which is great, but we do need recovery on this Kroxgor Ancient unless we give him that thing that gives him recovery, the Totem of Prophecy. In which case you wouldn't, in theory, then need it, but, well, there's a decent argument to be made for using some Skinks in his army as well. Maybe... Oh! I know what we'll do for his army. We'll combine the Solar Engines with the Skink Cohorts with Javelins. I mean, this is the... No, it's not a fire army, it's just a Chotek army in particular. And this way we can keep around some of the Skink Cohorts with Javelins, because we don't really have them in the other armies as much. I like that. I like that a lot. That works for me. Alrighty, we can do that. Although, obviously, the bonus fire damage from something like Chameleon Stalkers would work better, but once again, I just have to hold myself back from just spamming Chameleon Stalkers all over the place. Also, before I forget, you get another point in Grand Palanquin, and more movement range for Nakai. Rank 16 for Lord Croak. I will miss him when he's gone to a different army, but once again, Nakai doesn't really need him to bonk his way through everybody. We're also probably gonna swap out the Steg and keep the Amixon Barb. And 3 Basties with Reeve of Crystals is a little bit too much as well. Anyway, let's skip. Let's end the turn, assuming that we don't have to build any buildings here. We do have a decent amount of growth, but we're saving it for the sort of final pyramids. I would like another Ancient Crocs or Sacred Kroxigor, though, in this army, because we just have the 1. So let's actually upgrade this, and it won't give us any additional capacities. Eventually, we're also going to have to delete these buildings and replace them with those pyramids, but for now, it is what it is. Let's also activate the... Oh, actually, nearly 500 old ones favor, if we wanted to potentially get something out of this. But it's mostly buffs for the Kroxigor Ancient. I would kind of like the sequence of the Wanderer, but once again, we're not really defending. Although it would enable us to unlock these points, although I assume they're also 10 turns. Wait, I thought Nakai already has exceptional protection. Whoa. Exceptional protection for Nakai. Damage resistance plus 15%. Am I crazy, or does Nakai not already have that? Huh, maybe he doesn't. Oh, he has exceptional offensive. I see. And I'm still thinking later in the campaign we're probably going to just get rid of the Ogham Shard for the Talisman of Preservation. The thing is, the Horde growth is great, but eventually Nakai won't need it, and this has got to be one of the worst purple items in the game, right? Like, this is pretty bad, I mean, compared to 16 ward save, especially on a big old target like Nakai. But anyway, we'll see. I wonder where Scarbrand is. I gotta double check the map. Kugath is here. I wonder if there's any... Is Scarbrand even in the Badlands? I just assumed that this was Khorne and therefore I had to be Scarbrand, but probably not near Tarball, so maybe he's down here somewhere? I see a lot of vampiric corruption. Ooh, it'll be fun fighting down there. And possibly against the Tomb Kings as well. Nakari's down here, as I recall, as well. Yeah, there he is. Ooh, oh, Nakari would be a great... Yeah, alright, so I think I've decided what we're gonna do with Nakai is go like this, and maybe move down the mountains, since he does have the tunneling stance anyway, and then loop around to Nakari like this through the undead territories. The defeat trait of Nakari is great for giving speed to the entire army, and more speed on those Kroxigors is just the ticket. Anyway, let's end the turn. Ally mission aborted. Oh no. Trading places mission issued. Establish a trade agreement with any that's not possible, right? We can't, our faction can't trade. Oh, Numas is a lot more territories than the Exiles of Nehek do. Go figure. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what that, why it gives us that. Although I still feel like we should be able to, can you reach this? No, you're just a little bit short. Ah, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, either way, you can transfer all of the Pterodon riders to Shulamar here, and you can take back... You know what, these Chameleon Stalkers are in pretty good shape. You can... I guess you can still take those back. Take those. Then we will take these as well and start leveling them up. Then you can transfer the flyers to this army, and our second skink force is nearly ready to go. I think I went a little bit too hard on spamming chameleon skinks here, and we'll replace a couple of them with some skink skirmishers. In fact, we're at 18 out of 20, which is... Okay, I guess we'll swap out 4 chameleon skinks for 4 chameleon skirmishers, or chameleon skirmishers, for 4 skink skirmishers, because we need another skink chief and another skink priest in this army, which will complete it. The Pawash Sentinels would also work here as well, but then we need to reduce another unit in some way. I guess we don't really need 5 Pterodon riders. Although they are good at sniping single entities because of the high missile strength, so that's pretty good. We're minus 3,000 now. But you gotta keep recruiting, what can you do? Anyway, I think with that, folks, I think we're going to probably call the episode here. We are definitely starting to go long, and it looks like we can't reach any of the other places in this particular turn, which means we'll be able to do it next time around. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll separate Nakai and Co. We will move towards Pillar of Bones here. And then these two will move towards the Beast Stone and then attack it together next turn. I assume that the magic is fine here and there as well. Alright. We should probably also... Oh, I just realized something. You actually will want to upgrade the communal grounds, as that is quite valuable to you. Don't necessarily need these, at least... We will eventually want to get them to tier 3 just for the upgrade of this, for the additional construction reduction, but we don't need it right now. And there we go. Cut-up is stuck in the Bloodspike Mesa now, so if we want to wipe him out, now is a pretty good opportunity to do so. If we do. But it's up to you guys. Vote below. We'll start off potentially attacking him next episode, or just leaving him alone and then allying with him, depending on how the vote goes, and then heading southward. Otherwise, we will be looking to wipe out Crimson Skull next time, and then moving through... Well, at least some of these territories. They'll probably peel away one of our armies relatively soon, as in our Skirmisher army, and then start heading southward through the mountains, find some Skaven, kill some Skaven, and loop back around maybe towards Kugath, and then etc, etc, etc. Ooh. Yeah, we can get to the first levels of these now as well, if we want them, over, I don't know, Metamorphosis and other stuff. But anyway, we'll figure it all out next time. Stay tuned for more Nakai. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.